Welcome everyone to the eMedica AKT Pass Guarantee Orientation for the 150-day program for the January 2025 exam. Wow, can't believe we're already there. Okay, good. So let me explain what this session is for. It's an opportunity really for you to meet the team, understand how does the program work. We'll go through how you complete your daily tasks, how do you complete and submit your weekly tasks. There'll be a chance for you to ask any questions that you've got about the program before we start. So use the chat as you've been doing to pass comments, to get involved in the discussion. If you've got a question that you'd like myself or the faculty to deal with, please use the Q&A for that rather than the chat, okay? Because the chat disappears as the Q&A stays there until it's been dealt with, okay? So let's begin with this, which was in your welcome pack for those that have already got it. For those that signed up in the last couple of days, your welcome pack will be with you. Hopefully you get it by the weekend, okay? That the famous saying attributed to Lao Tzu, a Chinese philosopher, that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And you've taken a big step to join a structured program of guided learning like this. So, I want to thank you for putting your trust in our team. But something really important to understand that that's a big step, right? And we're going to guide you and break down the work. So you just need to focus on one step at a time. But it's really important to remember that while the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, it's still 1,000 miles. So it's still a lot of work, a lot of hard work, and it's still a long journey. We're going to be working together day in, day out for 150 days. That's 5 months, all the way up until the end of January when you go to your exam. But each day, you just need to focus on the one step in front of you. Because if you think about a journey of 1,000 miles, sometimes it can be overwhelming. And AKT is like that. The curriculum can be overwhelming. It's so big. Don't worry about it. We have broken it down into manageable units and we'll give it to you in a guided way, in a structured way. So all you need to focus on is doing the work that's assigned. You don't need to worry about how will I cover this or when will I cover this. We'll cover it. Just focus on one bit at a time because when it's broken down, then it's not going to be overwhelming. Okay, so just focus on the task at hand. All right. So that's it. Let's introduce you to the rest of the team. Just start with myself. For those that haven't met me before, my name is Mohibur Rahman. I'm a portfolio GP, so that means I'm a GP with multiple roles. So clinically, I'm a partner in my own practice. I also am one of the 2 GPs at a secure unit for women with significant mental health illness. So we sort of deal with all their primary healthcare needs, and the psych team deals with their mental health. I also cover 2 community detox units, and over the years, I've worked in various other clinical roles. Most of my time now, though, is spent in medical education as the medical director of eMedica, sort of developing programs, delivering teaching, working with other organizations as a consultant in medical education to help them develop learning materials. I did my own GP training in Neath Port Talbot in South Wales and passed my MRCGP with merit back in 2007. And I got FRCGP in 2019 for my work in medical education and humanitarian medicine. I've been an author for the Prescribing Safety Assessment and written various books, articles, guides on the MRCGP. I was an examiner and invigilator for the GMC for the PLAB OSCE, the Part 2, and I continue to be on the examiner panel for Liverpool Medical School for finals. And I sit on the NICE GP reference panel, which gives feedback to NICE on new guidelines before they get rolled out into GP to look at how suitable is it for working GP day to day, or is there anything that they could change, or is there anything that wouldn't really be practical, things like that. So meet the rest of the other core members of the team. So Masouda Rahman is our Director of E-Learning at eMedica. She's faculty for all of the courses and webinars. She helped to develop a lot of the things that you're going to see. And you'll see Masouda at some of the live sessions. She's on annual leave for the summer. Anna Greyted is a core member of the eMedica team. She's a big part of the eMedica e-learning team. She'll also be faculty for course and webinars. And she's also the admin and main support contact for the WhatsApp group. So for each cohort, so just for your specific cohort, the 150-day program for January, there'll be a WhatsApp group. Primarily, that is an opportunity for you to maybe find a study buddy, to discuss challenging questions, to sort of support each other. But if you get stuck on anything, we're here to help. So Anna will be the main contact for that. And then if there's anything clinical that between Anna and Masouda, they still need support for, they'll feed it back to me, and I'll send you a reply. All right. But primarily, it's a chance for you to support yourselves, and you get a link to join that WhatsApp group in the welcome email, which you'll get the day before we start. So you'll get that on Saturday. Okay. Let me hand you over to Anna. Anna, do you want to say a few words? Say hello.
Yes, hi. Looking forward to working with you. I've been doing this program with cohorts of doctors like you for many, many times now. I think this might be our 15th AKT that we've been supporting people in a pass guarantee program. And so I've learned some stuff over the years, and I just want to give you 3 tips as we begin. The first is commit to this program. It's an intensive program. There's a lot to do and a lot to think about. So it's one of those things, if you let it fall behind thinking I'll catch up later, that's really hard to do. So really do commit to the program and really do think, okay, I am tired. It has been a long day, but I am going to just do that last bit of reading. Or yes, I'm very, very busy, but maybe I'll just get up early so I can get those questions done before I get on with my day, just so that you keep on top of your work. And the second thing I'd really advise you to do is to be as organized as possible. Don't be the person who is always thinking, did I submit that or not? Or I can't remember. There was a really interesting link and I wanted to go back and look at it. I can't remember where I saw it. Be the person who always knows where things are. Make sure you file your emails in a separate folder so you can find them. Become really familiar with the resource page because that's really helpful for you. Be organized because otherwise you waste time on something that isn't learning. And that's the principal aim of this whole process, isn't it? And then finally, trust the process. It can feel at the beginning like it's very, very difficult, and it can feel like you're not making the progress you'd like, and you're not seeing the scores that you are accustomed to seeing. Trust it. You are learning. It is all learning, and it will build up bit by bit, and it will feel almost imperceptible, but you will get there and you will be learning. So don't be disheartened. Think of every time you get a question wrong is an opportunity for you to learn some new knowledge, to hone that exam technique. And then by the time we get to the end of January, you will be ready to smash the AKT. Really looking forward to working with you.
Thanks very much. And then just really to introduce you to the other members of the eMedica team, because we couldn't put together such a big program like this with so much content and work without a huge team behind us. So you may have already received some emails, or if you phoned into the office, or if you had a query, you may already have been in contact with some of our other team members. There's also team members that will make sure after every live session that the videos get processed and uploaded onto your resources page so that you can watch them back for revision purposes later on. So Selina Begum, Tuba Jamil, Jabeda Khatun, Rabia Hussein, Laura Smith, and Rebecca Begum, they're all going to be involved at various points doing other things, okay? So let me explain how the program works. You've joined the 150-day program. So over the next 150 days, we're going to be working together. There's over 225 hours of structured learning. So you get an email about 5 o'clock in the morning every other day for the first 4 months. And in the last month, it will intensify. It will be every single day. So when you get that email, there'll be links to a question of the day with associated reading. On weekends, there'll be 2 questions with 2 lots of reading. There'll be a link to a set or sets of online revision questions to do. There'll be daily reading tasks to do. So you've got to complete all of your daily tasks before the next email. I.e., in the first 4 months, you've got 48 hours to get that done. Now, if you can get it done in the first day, what you have is the second day, don't see it as a day off. See it as a chance, okay, maybe some of the bits that I did yesterday that I was less confident in, I'll quickly revise those as I go. That's one of the benefits of being on the 5-month program, is that first 4 months, because it's every other day, you've got some leeway. But equally, if, for example, you've got a really busy on call and you can't get everything done the first day, don't let any day go that you're not doing some learning. So maybe you'll just do the question of the day and the reading to do with that. And you might leave for the second day the online revision questions and, other bits and bobs, right? So, but no matter what, before the next email hits, you've got to get the daily tasks done if you're going to keep up. Alongside that, there are weekly tasks which will have a specific deadline written on the email. Now, the daily tasks, when you complete them, they automatically get submitted to us. And we use data that we gather from the daily tasks that you do early on in the program to work out what are your areas that you need more support on? What are your areas of weakness? And each of you in the last sort of part of the program will get a different individual learning plan targeted at your weaker areas. That's why it's really important that you're doing things timely so we can gather this data and keep track on what you might need additional support for. Alongside that, you've got weekly tasks. Now, these are different each week because we use a lot of different varieties of learning to try to expose you to the content. So, sometimes there'll be a video of a workshop focusing on a specific specialty and some questions to answer to make sure you've learned it. Sometimes it might be a learning or research exercise to get you to dive deep into a topic that comes up a lot in the exam, so you really learn it well and can answer any questions that you face from it. Sometimes there might be online questions from a different source. So we'll use questions from MRCGP self-test, so you get exposed to questions written by some of the examiners. So you get used to the style of that. Sometimes there might be RCGP knowledge challenges. Again, some of those questions are written by the examiners. All right. I'll show you how to work through the email shortly. But something really important, when you've got a long journey, it's important that you enjoy the little wins. So within your welcome pack, there's a daily progress tracker. There's also a curriculum checklist. If I go through the progress tracker first, put it on a notice board somewhere visible near where you're going to be doing your learning. All right. And if you think, okay, I've done all of the daily tasks now in email number 1. So you're going to get 90 emails as part of the program once we start with the work. When you've done all of the daily tasks in email number 1, tick the box. So at the beginning, it's all empty, right? Then, you finish the second one, tick. When you get here, there's a sort of sense of progress being made. You know what? I'm making some progress here, right? I'm nearly sort of, just under a quarter of the way there. When you get here at the bottom of this tick, that's 45 days done out of 90 emails, 45 emails done. You think, I'm halfway now. When you get here, you think, you know what? I'm getting there. And then this is the home stretch. When you get here and you look back and you think, you know what? I've done all this work consistently. It's going to give you a big boost in your confidence. Similarly, the curriculum checklist. You will have a printed one in your welcome pack where we've taken about 600 of the core topics from the exam and we put them into clinical, stats, admin, and within that, they're alphabetical. So we're not going to do them in this order because we'll do some admin, some stats, some clinical as we go. We don't save any domain right to the end. We'll expose you to, lots of things from different areas. But when you feel, okay, you know what, let's say you've done a set of questions and some reading and you feel, you know what, I've covered this, tick it. Again, at the beginning, this is all empty, right? As you get closer to the exam, you're going to see lots of ticks and just a few gaps, which you'll be filling in. We'll cover it all by the end of the program. But, the evening before the exam, you're going to look back at this and see all these are ticked. You're going to look back and see every single one of these. There's 36 pages, right? There's about 600 tick boxes. They're all ticked. It's going to really make you feel, I know I've done this work. That's going to give you such a boost when you go into that exam because you know you're prepared, okay? And as Anna mentioned, the resources page is really, really important. At the bottom of every email, there's a little green box and it says resources page. When you click that, it'll ask you to log in. Once you log in, it will take you to a page that looks like this. So at the beginning, yours will just have a chance for you to download the timetable in case you need to access it. You've left your printed one at home and just wanted to check, oh, I've got on calls or I'm doing a swap with someone. I want to see what's coming up. You can just check it there. The curriculum guide, the high yield checklist, frequently asked questions, things like that, they're all there. There'll also be a link to the recording of this session will be available here. These won't be there at the beginning, it'll be blank. But after we've done the first high yield webinar, which we'll do after you've had 7 of the emails or thereabouts, okay? A couple of weeks into the program, you'll see a few days after the live session, this link will appear. And if you click the picture, you'll be able to watch the recording. If you click this, you'll be able to download the teaching slides. Similarly, after you've done the second one, I'm showing you this now because this is from the last program, the October cohort. They've already done 1 and 2, okay? By the end, you'll see high yield 1, high yield 2, high yield 3, high yield 4. You'll see the full day AKT course video, the AKT 200 video, stats webinar video, admin webinar video, high yield clinical grammar 1, high yield clinical grammar 2, i.e. every single taught session that we do, a couple of days after or for the full day ones within a week, you'll see the video. You don't need to contact us for it. It'll automatically appear and you'll have access to it right up until the date of your exam for revision purposes, okay? So make sure you're familiar with this resources page. Right? It's at the bottom of every single email that you're going to get from us. And it automatically updates as we go. So let me show you now an example of the work. But before we do, something really important. As part of good data management, we have to make it easy in every email that we send people that if they don't want to get emails from us, that they have an easy way to unsubscribe. This is part of having a good reputation so that our emails get delivered. So you'll see at the bottom two options to unsubscribe. This one with a long link and this one, the one-click unsubscribe, to make it easy. Please do not click these unless you don't want to carry on with the program. And you genuinely don't want to get any more emails from us, because by clicking that, that's what you're saying. You're saying, I don't have permission to give you any emails anymore. And so what will happen is you just will stop getting emails from us. And that's because that's automated. When you do that, it removes you from the list. Now, sometimes people click it by mistake. If you do that once and you contact us, we can add you back. But if you do that a couple of times, what happens is your email provider, because when we click this, it's linked to the email that received it as well as the email that sent it. So what will happen is sometimes your email provider will say, this is dodgy behavior. They've unsubscribed from this same sender a couple of times, and they seem to be adding them back. And then what happens is you might not be able to receive emails from us at all because your provider puts a block. We don't want that to happen. And if that happens, you'll have to give us a different email. That now makes it more difficult to track. So please don't unsubscribe unless you really want to. Okay? So let me show you how the daily tasks work. Remember, they get submitted automatically, and I'll show you how you submit the weekly tasks. And then we'll do the summary, and then after that, I'll show you any questions Anna and I will take. So here is an example of the email you're going to get on Saturday. The program starts on Sunday. So remember, between now and then, you must complete the pre-course learning. It's about 4 hours worth of videos, okay? That's really important stuff before we start the program. Please make sure you've gone through them before day one. But there will be a link to watch the recording of this. It doesn't go anywhere at the moment because the recording hasn't been made yet. There'll be a link for you to join the WhatsApp group specifically for your cohort. And then there's a link for the resources page. You see, if you click that, it will show you that. There'll be a reminder of the next live session. Put this in your diary. It's the 5th of September. Okay. And then there's the unlink, unsubscribe. Please don't click those, right? Day one email, you will see this is where the work starts. Now, because we're starting on a weekend, there's a bit more work than normal. So again, there'll be a chance to watch the orientation video again, chance to join the peer support WhatsApp group. But then there's a question of the day. There's 2 on weekend. So there's 2 here. So we click this. You put in your email. I'll put in the eMedica email. This is the main email if you need support from us that you will use, okay? So read the question, answer what you think, click next. It will tell you if you got it right or wrong, and then there's an explanation. Once you've read the explanation, there'll be a link for you to read up about that topic in a bit more detail, okay? So that's the first one. Then you're going to do a second one because it's the weekend. These link to our online revision. So again, it'll ask you to log in. Once you log in, it will take you directly to the right set of questions. Again, you put your name in. Okay. And then you start. Work your way through the question. Read the explanations. If it's something that you got wrong and you think, you know what, why did I get that wrong? Maybe you might read up a bit more in detail about that topic. If you get it right, it might be that this explanation is enough, okay? So, once you get to the 20th question, the minute you answer this last one, it will automatically send us the marks, all right? So don't worry. Sometimes people, if they're doing it on a mobile, they submit the last one and they don't see anything further and they worry about, as long as you've answered the 20th question, we've got it. Don't worry. Okay. Again, on the weekend, there'll be 2 sets of those questions, whereas weekdays, there's 1. Then it'll tell you which case cards to read. Now, you'll have your physical case cards. So if you've got them, you can just read them. They're all numbered. If not, you can access the digital ones. Let's say you're, trying to do this in lunch break. You could access them. So it said number 1 and number 2, right? So number 1, number 2, all right? And then there's the reading. So we use different sources, but a lot of them will include things from NICE because we know they're up to date, okay? So in this case, there's a treatment summary, and you're going to read up about it. So sometimes there'll be fewer because it's more in depth. Sometimes if it's really short, there might be more than 2. So that's it. You've done all of those. That's your daily task done. You've got to get those done before the next email. Alongside, there's a weekly task, and that's got a set date. So the first one, the deadline is the 31st of August, i.e. the end of the month. So when you click that, it will explain how to do it. Okay. You need to enable editing, work through it. There's some links. And once you've done it, you'll need to upload it. So you click submit, put your name, put your email, and then upload it, choose the file, and then submit it to us. Okay. And then, we'll have that. Similarly, when you do work from places like RCGP self-test, because they won't allow any external providers to link directly to their database. Whereas when you do our questions, we can get the marks straight away when you do the last question. If you do questions from RCGP self-test, you'll be asked to download them. Sometimes you'll do those as part of the weekly task, for example, and then upload them. Okay. So that's the second one. Then I'll show you the day 2 email. Because that's going to fall on a weekday, you see, there'll be one question of the day, one set of online revision questions, again, 2 case cards, a couple of bits of reading. Do you see, this is the same research stuff. Don't feel you have to do it on the first day. You've got until the 31st August. Weekly tasks, they change 1 week to the next. They don't change every email. Whereas the daily tasks, every email, they're different. Okay. So that's how you work through everything and submit the work. So if you've got any questions, put them in the Q&A, but I'm going to first give you my keys to success and do the summary because some of you might not have questions. That way we can finish bang on time. This session's only, running for half an hour to introduce you to the program. So really 3 big keys to success, adding on to what Anna already said, which is some excellent tips. So the first is that mindset matters. Michael Corder said that to succeed, we must first believe that we can. From now, you need to have in your mind that I can pass this exam because I'm going to put the work in and you're talented, you're intelligent, you've got through medical school, you've got through getting into GP training, which is competitive, you've got to this stage. You're a talented person. You're highly intelligent. You couldn't get to where you are without that. It's really important you start with a positive mindset. Makes a huge difference because there are 2 major types of mindset. So one is a growth mindset. And then the other one is what's called a fixed mindset. Sometimes people call it a negative mindset. If you have a fixed mindset, the minute you get a poor mark, you go into a downward spiral. There's no way I can pass. I'm getting an awful score. This is terrible. I might as well give up. And that feeds itself. Your brain actually then shuts down the learning. There's research on this that, you're actually going to retain less. Whereas a growth mindset, when you get a poor score, you think, I'm glad that I've identified this is something I need to read in more depth. This is an opportunity for me to improve. And then you learn it. You see every question that you get wrong as an opportunity to learn. But that's really important because if you start with, this exam is too hard, I can't pass, that's going to feed itself into, you won't actually put the work in. And even when you do, you actually won't take it in. So that's really important. From now, you need to have in your mind that you're going to pass this exam. We're going to help you, but you've got to put the work in. That brings me on to number 2. Be consistent. Keep up with your daily tasks. It's very different doing the work spread out over 5 months and, absorbing it. And then some of the work that you did earlier on we'll build on later. We'll introduce you to some concepts, for example, in the first high yield webinar, which we'll cover in more depth when we get to the stats webinar, the admin webinar. But, if you fall behind and think, oh, I'll cram it all on the weekend, I won't do any throughout the week, it just doesn't work like that. You can't sit and just take it all in one go in that way. It doesn't work. The brain needs time to absorb things, and then you get a chance to then go over it sometimes. Similarly, the weekly tasks, be consistent. It's no good me joining a gym. I only go once a week, and then I think, oh, why am I not sort of making progress? I don't feel any stronger. I don't feel any healthier. I can't run any further. Do you see? Similarly, there's no point joining a program and then you don't do the work and then expect to get good results. That doesn't work that way, does it? You've got to be consistent. And lastly, focus on the learning, not your scores. We deliberately have challenging questions, both in our daily tasks, in our online question bank, at our courses, because there's science behind that stimulates learning, that you remember far more things that you make a mistake in or you get wrong, then you understand and learn why. You'll remember that better than one that you got right. Okay. So don't worry about your scores. That's not important. You worry about what's in your control, which is doing the work, and be consistent. And the scores will be right when you get to the exam. Most people will find most of our daily questions tough, and we'll often get most of them wrong throughout a big chunk of the program. That's fine. You haven't learned it yet. Do you see? Similarly, early on, you might find that there's lots of areas you just haven't covered yet. You haven't started your own learning yet. You haven't been exposed to it maybe within, your rotation. And so there might be things that you're not familiar with. It's natural that, you're going to find that challenging. Just understand that any question you get wrong, it means that we've set a topic that you need to learn. It's an opportunity for you to learn. Have that growth mindset. And if you can do those three things, then I want to just highlight that it definitely can help you succeed. I'm going to share some of the messages we've received from recent cohorts. Okay, cohorts in 2024. Someone that got a fantastic score, 100% in stats, 90% in admin, but anything above 80% is amazing. They actually joined the 150-day program, the last 150-day program, just like you. Okay, the last one that we've had results from. This is someone that it was their second attempt, and it made a big difference compared to their first attempt. And it really, really helped them to have structure. Here's someone nearly 90% overall, 90% in stats, 85% in admin, nearly 90% in clinical. Phenomenal. Again, someone, look at this, really brave, sitting the exam, okay, during the pregnancy, and really nice for them that they're about to start maternity leave, and now they don't have to worry about the exam, and they can just really enjoy that year, enjoy that time with their baby. That's a really nice thing. But again, look at this, 100% in stats, 100% in admin. Okay. So, they're hard questions, it's hard work, but it works if you put the effort in. Okay. Here's another one, 94%, one of the highest scores. This was the April exam. Okay. In that cohort, 100% in stats and admin, over 90% in clinical. This was one of the highest scores in the whole country in that cohort. All right. So, any questions? If you put them in the Q&A, Anna and I will pick them up. But for anyone that hasn't, I leave you again with that first message, that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Thank you for taking the first step, which is joining something structured. We're looking forward to working with you, and we're going to help you every step of the way. Welcome to the program, and I'm really looking forward to the next 5 months with you. Right? Thank you so much. For those that haven't got any questions, make sure you've done your pre-course learning before Sunday, and the hard work begins then. All right, and I'll see you at the next live session. Thank you so much.